I'm architect Sandeep Shikre. We are more popularly known as SSA architects. We had a very humble start with the 2 people. Now SSA is a family, around 200 plus professionals. So it's a bunch of diverse talent, intelligence, and we all have a good time together. In our profession, we believe that it cannot be encompassed in any boundaries. So our tagline says architecture and beyond. When we start working on a project, initially when the concept is getting developed, an intuitional perception comes in your mind, and slowly that perception starts translating into a detailed design, which is a built environment. And the built environment has to be responsible, it has to function. In a nutshell, we describe it in 3 words: space, people, and happiness. Well, this particular project, Mudra, is very close to my heart. It's a very small, compact plot, but very nice and a cute size of a plot. Their desire was to develop a headquarters. Their brief was that they wanted to keep it very simple. It's called Mudra House. So bringing house and offices together. So they wanted to have that kind of an architecture which will not overwhelm, but which will envelop, which will keep their creative juices to continuously flow, and as if the people would not have an urge to go home. It's basically a very small, simple rectangular plot. What we did, we first identified the green spaces, and we wanted this particular building to be sitting there very softly around all the masculine concrete and metal buildings. This small little building creates a very cozy kind of an expression. This is a very simple footprint. It's a linear tube, has a horizontal hierarchy, and then it has a vertical hierarchy. So these were all green spaces. This is a ground garden where we have a beautiful outdoor workshop here. That outdoor workshop actually acts as a pavilion where they have a lot of outdoor interaction, and every square foot of the roof of this building is covered with the green area that actually protects us from the heat island impact. So we have this as a moment of a sun, and there is an interesting canopy which spreads over the entire building, which is quite scientifically worked out. We did a lot of microclimate responsive studies, and this particular canopy gives a shading to all the terraces. So the overall it's a nice combination where the building is ground plus 8 story. It has a different kind of a hierarchy where it shrinks at the upper level, and this particular canopy and the atrium, which is on the front side, plays a very huge role for the building's productivity and its inside comfort. When actually we come to a typical floor plan, there is a first area which we call it as a lounge, which has got a couple of discussion rooms. There are these beautiful scenic elevators, they are glass elevators. There is one more elevator which is for the directors. Then there is this staircase which is also quite nice, it's visible from outside, and then there are restrooms over here. Then comes the main office area, den of a creative people, which is more of an open office with nice workstations moving around all the place. Some of the workstations where they had an aspiration to sit on the floor and work, they are also quite interesting. Few cabins on the side. So this kind of ensures that there's a beautiful daylight for the entire office. Also there's a nice view for every person who's sitting in an open office. And then comes the last zone, which is a utility zone where we have a service staircase, service lift, UPS, restrooms, etc. As we move on to the upper floor, when we reach a 6th floor, the lounge part remains same, but the floor plate shrinks from both sides and the cafeteria becomes slender, with again the utility block remaining the same. So this is a cafeteria at 6th floor level, which has a very interesting terrace on both sides. That's also one of the nice character when you see the building from outside. Then we have provided this particular canopy which goes over all the building, acts as a shading device for all the terraces. And interestingly, there is this atrium which is on the front facade, which also plays a very significant role. So when you see a Mudra from the northeast side, you see this atrium, you see this iconic canopy, but they're all with the purpose. They also provide a microclimate response to the whole building. When we are looking at the stacking of the building, there are two cores. This is one core. There is another core, which is on the other side. Then we have ground floor, first floor, second floor, third, fourth, fifth, and the sixth floor is a terrace with 7 and 8 as a director's level. The building has these punch windows, which are recessed windows, also provides a good protection from the heavy monsoon and summer of Mumbai city. Then further, the building is cladded with a beautiful terracotta stone, which adds that very cozy atmosphere for the whole architecture. So there is a dry cladding of terracotta on all the solid surfaces, which also acts as an insulation, and most importantly, it provides that soft ethnic touch that we wanted to achieve for the whole building. See, Mudra is a reputed creative firm, and more interestingly, it has various strategic business units within one organization. So while working on this project, it was a task before us to ensure that these multiple clients within one client, how do we put them all together seamlessly? And interestingly, all of these identities are predominantly known with the colors. So we came up with this interesting concept where we said rainbow. Rainbow has that characteristics where the broad spectrum of color, when it comes together, makes a single statement and has its own identity. So that's how we developed an hierarchy in the entire building, where every floor is designated for a particular strategic business identity. So one floor is a DDB, which is yellow, one floor which is Mudra, which is green, one floor which is Raptus, which is orange. So that really allowed us to have this kind of a seamlessness in the building. Now, when you go on a ground floor, you have a unit called water. So our team thought that let's make it a visual expression of this particular area as a free-flowing water. So you can see through those interior fit-out areas where the cabin, the table, every piece of furniture and the environment resembles with the water. Most of the office has no false ceiling. It's all exposed surfaces, very meticulously worked out. Very few areas we have a false ceiling where it is required for some acoustic purposes. And Mudra also has a lot of aspiration for the Indian historic places. So each of these discussion rooms, conference rooms are named with significant places like Dhobi Talab, Char Minar, Chandni Chowk. So it again carries that character in the whole building. As you can see, all the materials used inside are very simple. They are not shiny. They are very ethnic, because that's how the whole philosophy of the architecture, which filters from outside to inside. The library is also very interesting. The brief was that we would like to see the books and read the books while sleeping. So we created a very innovative layout of the library where the Mudra team would sit on a bin bags, or they will want to lie down and read the books. Then the top floor. The top floor is the director's floor, and director's brief was also that they want to look at it as a home office. So they have their personal work desk where they have all their personal things put on a soft board, and then they have another area where they'll meet their visitors and a guest. So quite innovative layouts, a very different kind of a setup for the directors' cabins. Madhukar sits in a corner, which is a most cozy corner of the building, where he has a fantastic view of a Bandra Kurla complex. At that particular level, we have a small AV media room. It's an audio video room, which accommodates around 20 odd people, because Mudra has a lot of their presentations through audio video medium. It's like a recliner when you go for a PVR cinema. So the people would go there, they'll camp there for hours together. There's a pavilion on the ground floor which has a nice gesture of people meeting off the work. There's a terrace on the 6th floor and there's a rooftop. So it's a perfect indoor and outdoor combination where people could spend a lot of time working with each other. Well, art plays a very important role in architecture. In fact, art and architecture is inseparable. Mudra has a deep appreciation for the art. So we thought of this idea that why not engage vernacular architecture, where we identified few really good artists and a Varli painting, which is very strong, popular vernacular architecture. So we got those artists and they literally did the art on the walls. So it's a purely original form of getting their talent scripted onto the walls. So when you enter in the ground floor, you see that beautiful Varli painting on the lift wall, and then this Varli motif carries with you throughout the building. As this area was having an exposed ceiling, we developed a metal murals of a origami, and these metal murals of different sizes, different areas goes into the ceiling as a pendant, and there's a beautiful light that reflects on it, again creates that very homely atmosphere in the whole building. So it's a perfect combination of art complementing the overall architecture. It's always very exciting for any architect when they see the design aspirations that they had developed finally translates into a functional complex. It exactly serves the purpose. And I feel here the Mudra team is very happy, and you can see it through several incidences where people are enjoying every space of this building. So it's very rewarding for an architect when they see that the dreams of the client coming true through a space, people and happiness. So I would say, job well done.